Welcome back to the deep dive. We're always aiming to plunge into compelling topics, give you insights, maybe those real aha moments. Today, we're navigating a really critical intersection, the tough world of legal challenges and the very personal journey of recovery. We're exploring how people facing legal issues, especially when addiction's involved, can find a path to healing, not just punishment. It's a shift in thinking that, according to our sources, can genuinely change lives. The difference between cycling through the system and, well, lasting sobriety.
That's exactly right. And our focus today is specifically on court liaison services. You might think of it as admin, but it's really more like a vital bridge. It connects the, let's face it, often impersonal legal system with the absolutely crucial world of addiction treatment. So this deep dive, it's about uncovering how these services aren't just processing paperwork. They offer a real chance for change, turning a scary legal situation into potentially a doorway to a new life.
Absolutely. So our mission today, we want to unpack how these specialized advocates help people navigate both sides, the legal maze and the recovery path. We'll be drawing insights from our sources, looking at the benefits, and it's not just for the individuals, is it?
No, not at all. Attorneys benefit, the whole justice system potentially benefit.
Right. So get ready to maybe rethink what justice can look like when rehabilitation really steps up. The outcomes might surprise you. When we first start looking at addiction and the criminal justice system meeting, it's often a really, really tough place for people to be. Someone's struggling with addiction, then bam, they encounter the law. The fallout can be huge. Life-altering, truly. And attorneys, they're often in this difficult spot. They're defending clients where, the substance use disorder is right at the heart of the legal trouble. It's a real challenge trying to get a good outcome when the root problem isn't strictly legal. It's personal, it's medical.
Exactly. And this brings up a key question our sources really dig into.
Right.
What actually helps? What makes a real difference here? Because the traditional route, probation, maybe jail time, finds it often just doesn't touch the underlying addiction. It might punish the act, sure, but it rarely heals the cause. So what we're seeing more and more, and what our sources really point to, is this concept of diversion into treatment. It's a crucial alternative, moving away from just punishment.
Towards fixing the root cause.
Precisely. Addressing the root cause. And the outcomes tend to be much, much better.
Yeah, and it's not just a theory anymore, is it? We're seeing this shift in places like California. Our sources mentioned Proposition 36, passed in 2024, that was specifically about directing people convicted of certain drug crimes towards treatment.
Instead of jail time.
Exactly. Instead of just locking them up, it reflects this broader legislative move, this acknowledgement that treatment can be way more effective than just incarceration for breaking those cycles. Addiction and crime,
Right. It's about breaking the cycle.
So, okay, if diversion into treatment is the aim, then there's this key person involved, the court liaison. When we first saw that term in our sources, court liaison, it sounds a bit, well, bureaucratic maybe.
A little dry, yeah.
But what emerged is this role is anything but dry. It's this professional bridge builder, like you said.
Right.
So let's unpack that. What exactly is a court liaison? What do they actually do?
That's a great question. And yeah, they're far more than just a title. A court liaison is a professional who connects the legal world with the treatment world. Simple as that sounds. But the crucial part is it's not just admin. It's rooted in legal advocacy, their main goal, to make sure people struggling with substance use disorder get a real shot at recovery, not just punishment.
Okay, so how do they do that practically?
Well, it involves several specific things. They actually go to court hearings with the clients. That presence alone is huge. They talk directly and clearly with judges, probation officers, attorneys. They're providing progress reports, treatment updates, keeping everyone in the loop. And here's the key. They actively advocate for treatment instead of jail time. They present these alternatives. And they also help clients navigate all the court requirements, which, let's be honest, can be super confusing and intimidating.
Okay, that makes sense. They're really the glue in that process. Now, this next bit, I found this really interesting. How do court liaisons specifically help the attorneys? Attorneys have a tough job advocating. How does this role make their job more effective in these specific cases?
Yes. This is where it gets really strategic for the legal team. A court liaison seriously strengthens the attorney's argument for treatment diversion. First off, think about professional representation in court. When a liaison, maybe from a known center like, say, New Life Recovery Centers, shows up with the client and the attorney.
It sends a message.
Exactly. It signals right away to the court. This client is already connected. They're engaged with a legitimate, accredited treatment provider. It's not just talk. It shows commitment from the get-go.
Right, so it's not just a promise of maybe getting help later. It's action happening now.
Precisely. Which leads to the second point, documented treatment plans. Liaisons don't just say treatment, they present actual, structured, trusted plans. Maybe it's a partial hospitalization program, PHP, structured day treatment,
Right, where they go home at night.
or intensive outpatient treatment, IOP, which is more flexible, or even full inpatient rehab for immersive care. The point is, these are concrete professional options, not vague ideas. They give judges and prosecutors something solid to consider instead of just incarceration.
It gives the attorney something real to propose.
Exactly, something credible.
And you mentioned credibility. Our sources seem to stress that credibility with judges is absolutely key. It's not just about having a plan, but a believable one.
Oh, absolutely. Credibility is everything in court. And our sources point out that established providers, like New Life's recovery centers, again, they've been around since 2004, that's over 21 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And they have CRF accreditation. That's huge.
What is CRF exactly, for listeners who might not know?
Right, good point. CRF is basically an independent international body that sets really high standards for health and human services. Think of it like a gold seal for quality care. So when an attorney partners with a center that has that kind of track record and accreditation, they instantly gain credibility with the court in places like San Jose. The court already trusts that provider. That makes the attorney's request for diversion much more likely to be heard favorably.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then there's just the practical side. Attorneys are swamped. Does the liaison take some of the load off?
Definitely. That falls under ongoing case support. The liaisons manage a lot of the details. Progress reports, checking attendance, updating probation officers, all that compliance stuff.
Stuff that takes time.
A lot of time. So the liaison handles that,
Yeah.
making sure the client stays on track with treatment. This frees up the attorney. They can then focus on the legal strategy, the defense itself, knowing the recovery side is being professionally managed. It's a true partnership.
So we see the clear benefits for the legal team, giving them a stronger position. But let's shift focus. Ultimately, it's about the person, right? The client. Beyond just avoiding jail, what does this liaison support mean for their actual journey towards getting better?
This is where the impact becomes really profound, truly life-changing for the clients. The biggest, most obvious benefit, diversion instead of jail. That's the main goal, right? Helping them get into treatment, not behind bars.
Sure.
But it's more than that. Liaisons provide accountability and support. They help clients stay accountable to the treatment plan, yes, but they also offer encouragement, advocacy. That's incredibly empowering when you feel vulnerable. And think about court. It's intimidating. Having your attorney and a liaison there, that means reduced stress in court, huge emotional reassurance. You feel like you have a team, not like you're facing it alone.
Yeah, I can imagine that makes a massive difference.
It really does. And maybe the most important long-term benefit, something our sources really highlight, is simply better outcomes. People who go through these programs, supported by liaisons, tend to have much lower rates of reoffending compared to those just getting traditional sentences. Completing structured treatment, it improves long-term recovery chances, helps avoid future legal trouble, and it can genuinely change the whole direction of someone's life. One person quoted in our materials actually said about their treatment center, "It felt less like a clinic and more like I was finally coming home."
Wow.
Yeah, that really tells you something about the kind of holistic impact we're talking about.
Okay, we've covered the why it's important and who benefits, but let's get down to the brass tacks now. For someone actually going through this, tangled up in the system, how does it work, step by step? Can you walk us through that practical process from legal trouble to treatment diversion?
Sure, it's actually a pretty structured pathway, designed to make sure the legal side and the treatment side work together smoothly. It usually kicks off with a referral from the attorney. The lawyer contacts a treatment center they trust, like New Life, for example, to get their client connected with a court liaison.
Okay, step one, lawyer makes the call.
Right. Then comes the assessment. This is crucial. The client gets evaluated to figure out the best level of care for them. Is it detox, PHP, IOP? Maybe residential. It's definitely not one size fits all. It has to be tailored.
Personalized care from the start.
Exactly. Based on that assessment, they develop a formal, individualized treatment plan. This plan details the recovery journey, the goals, the steps. It's written up clearly, ready to be presented to the court. It's the roadmap.
Got it. So you have the plan, then what?
Then comes the court advocacy. This is where the liaison really shines. They go to court, stand there with the client and the attorney, and they actively present that treatment plan. They explain why it's a good, constructive alternative to a standard sentence, why it offers a better shot at real change.
And it doesn't just end there with presenting the plan, does it? There's follow-through.
Oh, absolutely critical. There's ongoing reporting. Throughout the whole treatment period, the liaison keeps the judge and the probation officer updated. Consistent updates on attendance, progress in the program, how things are going overall.
Builds trust, I guess.
Definitely. Transparency and communication are key. It shows everyone's committed. And finally, if the client successfully completes the program, there's completion and aftercare. This obviously helps their legal situation massively. But beyond that, they get access to vital resources. Our sources mention providers like New Life, offering things like free lifetime aftercare, that kind of long-term support. That's huge for staying sober. It really sets some places apart.
Yeah, that lifetime support sounds incredible. And it brings up a point. Clearly, the provider matters a lot here. Why do courts seem to value certain treatment centers, like you mentioned, New Life Recovery Centers in San Jose? What makes them a trusted partner in this whole system?
That's a really important point. Reputation, track record, they are absolutely critical in this field. Think about it from the court's perspective. Judges, probation officers in Santa Clara County, they know New Life. They've seen their work since 2004. They've seen the results with thousands of clients over, 21 years now?
That familiarity must make a big difference when an attorney makes the request.
It makes it much easier. The court already has a level of trust built in. They recognize the name. They know the quality.
So it's not just offering treatment, it's offering treatment the court already sees as credible and effective.
Spot on. And our sources break down why centers like this are valued. First, obviously, is the decades of experience. 21 years, thousands helped. That speaks volumes. Then those accreditations we talked about. CARF is the big one, the highest level. Plus, they have state licenses from DHCS, California's Department of Healthcare Services, and LegitScript certified, which verifies they're legitimate and ethical online.
So multiple layers of quality checks.
Exactly. All signals of high standards. They also provide truly comprehensive support, evidence-based methods, structure, accountability, plus that crucial long-term follow-up.
And you mentioned earlier it's not just clinical, but holistic. How does that play into their effectiveness and why the courts might value that?
That's a huge part of it, I think. Their holistic approach focusing on healing body, mind, and spirit. It aims for sobriety that lasts. But what really jumps out from the source material is the feedback about the patient-centered environment. People don't describe it like a cold hospital. They use phrases like home away from home, familial environment.
That's powerful.
Isn't it? They talk about caring counselors, welcoming peers, feeling comfortable and supported from day one. One person said the atmosphere was rich with love and genuine support. You know, our sources even mention things like chef-prepared meals, comfortable living spaces.
Little things that aren't so little when you're trying to heal.
Exactly. They foster dignity, respect. That means a massive difference in someone's ability to engage and recover.
Feeling safe, supported, I imagine that's fundamental.
Absolutely. And one last practical point, accessibility. They take most major insurance. They work with PPOs, out-of-network, even EAPs and unions. Making sure that good care isn't out of reach financially is a big deal, too.
Sure is.
So you combine all that experience, accreditation, holistic care, the welcoming environment, accessibility, and you see why they become such a valued partner for the courts.
This whole deep dive has really shown a light on the potential here, hasn't it? Court liaison services. They seem to offer this really concrete path, a path toward both justice in a way, but also real deep healing. It can turn a court case, which feels like an endpoint, into maybe a turning point. A chance for lasting recovery from alcohol, from substance abuse. It's about seeing the person, not just the charge sheet, offering something truly restorative.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how blending that dedicated legal advocacy with compassionate, evidence-based treatment, it just fundamentally shifts the outcomes. It really does move the needle away from a system that's maybe purely punitive.
Towards something more rehabilitative.
Yeah. Exactly. Rehabilitative. Focused on long-term well-being. And if you zoom out, think bigger picture. These approaches aren't just good for the one person. They help create a more effective, more humane justice system overall. They can lower recidivism, build healthier communities for all of us. It really makes you think about the potential when we integrate these solutions, doesn't it? How it could redefine justice itself.
And that really leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. What possibilities really open up when our legal system starts prioritizing rehabilitation, holistic care, just as much as it prioritizes conviction? When treatment isn't seen as being soft, but as a smart, proactive investment in a safer, healthier future for everyone? And how might that continued evolution really change how we understand what true justice actually means? Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this gave you some fresh perspective on a really complex but incredibly important topic.